gardening and prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you into the kitchen on this chilly evening, where this is the last installment of videos for the ginger. This is the last of the 30-pound box of ginger. I have already put up two different uh, batches of Japanese pickled ginger. Now this is what I've been waiting to make. This is going to be, depends on how far you want to take the recipe. It's going to be candied ginger for some people, or if you follow along with go further with me, one step further, it's going to be crystallized ginger. Old-fashioned treats that not a whole lot of people make at home anymore. But oh, I do. And you will know how to do it too. So let's get started. Of course, you're going to need a lot of ginger. Now, depending on how big your batch will be, a single batch is 2.5 pounds of peeled ginger, which that's why I have a scale here. And you're going to want to save the peelings off of your ginger. And of course, some of my ginger I'm going to have to go through. It's looking a little rough. And believe it or not, some of it is sprouting. I don't know how, but it is. It was refrigerated ginger. It shouldn't sprout. But oh, yes, it's sprouting like crazy. See these? That's what you look for. That's ginger sprouts. So you know what it means? That piece I'm going to break off. I'm going to let it end cure. And you betcha I'm going to plant these babies. Now some of them I'm going to stop the sprouting phase of it and use it. Some of it I'm going to keep and plant it so it'll grow over the winter inside, and then it'll be ready to roll next spring when it gets good and warm. Now, there's several ways you can peel your ginger. Yes, you need to peel it. You can use like a potato peeler. You can use a paring knife, or believe it or not, a spoon. A lot of times the spoon is the best way. I'm going to have to do a lot of trimming, but look at that. Aim your spoon downwards, because believe me, ginger will squirt you in the eyes. And it is not fun being squirted in the eyes by ginger. But look at that. And all you're doing is taking the peeling off. Not much of the ginger. Now, like I said, you're going to, some of this is bruised. I'll cut around that. But you're going to want to save your peelings because you can make tea with it. Just keep the bad spots out. Alright, I will bring you back as soon as I get most of all this pile of ginger peeled. It's going to take a while. Some of it's going to be planted, some of it's going to be crystallized. And once it's all done, we're going to have fun. I'll see you back here in a little bit. If you notice, I got coffee because I know I'm going to be here a while. See you after a while. Okay, finally done getting it all peeled. And I got a bunch that have sprouted, and I'm gonna let the pieces where I broke it off at, I'm gonna let it air dry, and then I'm gonna plant these. Let them grow over winter. Alright, I looked up. It was rough, y'all. A lot of them were starting to look really rough. So we did end up um, peeling by just a hair under 5 pounds. I'm still going to call it a double batch because 5 pounds is a double batch. Now here comes the fun part. You have to choose. Are you wanting rounds? Are you wanting long slices? Or you want a mixture of both? I'm going to be having a mixture of both. So now comes the fun part of cutting it all up and putting it back in the bowl. Now I have bits and pieces of really good peel. I'm going to chop those up, dehydrate them. After a while, I'll take them out to the shed to dehydrate. I'll show you how I'm going to cut them up. Little bits to put into tea mix. Waste to nothing, y'all. You can do it, of course, when you make your candied ginger or your crystallized ginger, you'll have better peels because you'll be using fresher ginger. You can dehydrate all the peels and make tea with it or add it to tea mixes. Waste nothing. So let's get to the cutting. I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now, depending on how the piece looks, this one I will probably going to get those brown spots off. This thinner part, I'm going to cut into kind of what's going to be round. Now, you want them a little thick. Not real thick, but you don't want them paper thin, because if you let them get paper thin, they will get, when they go to dry, they'll be crunchy. If you want the crunchy candy ginger, you can do it that way, but traditionally it's chewy. So I'm going to make some rounds. Helps you take the sheath off. Then I'm going to make some longer pieces. Like I said, you don't want them real paper thin, but you don't want them too awful thick. And then that's how they stay chewy. Like I said, it's up to you. They're all going to cook the same. See, like this one, I'm just going to cut that one up into what you want to call rounds. And also, I didn't say on the peeling, there's the right direction to peel ginger, and there's the wrong direction to peel ginger. If the skin is coming off really easy, you have found the right way to go on that piece of ginger. If you're having to fight with it, turn it around, and you'll find that you'll have a whole lot easier way of peeling it. Okay. And I said it's going to be all different kinds of ways. But you know what? It's still going to turn out. Now these little bitty pieces, put them in the peels because yeah, that's going to disappear in the candying. I got 5 pounds, almost right at 5 pounds of ginger to cut up, and I'll bring y'all back as soon as I'm done. See you after a while. Okay, I have all the ginger sliced up. All different kinds, from from slices to rounds, you name it. It's going to be all different shapes and sizes, which is fine. I have, let's see, 24 cups of water. I'm doing a double batch. You want 2.5 pounds of sliced ginger, 8 cups, give or take, depends on how much how big your pan is, and you just want to cover your ginger with water. Next, we want, since I'm doing a double batch, the juice of 1 fresh lemon. Well, let's get a different lemon than that one. Alright, I have all my sliced ginger in the pot. I am doing a double batch, so this is 5 pounds of sliced, coined, you name it, different slices of ginger. Now you want enough water. This is plain water to cover over your ginger. I added a little more just to be on the safe side. Single batch, you want the juice of half a lemon. I'm doing a double batch, so I want the juice of a whole lemon. A fresh lemon. And of course, get the seeds out. Cannot tell you how happy I am to see actual lemons with seeds. And you want to make sure you get all the seeds out, even the little bitty things that were supposed to be seeds. Well, come on. Okay, finally. Okay, we're going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to take it to the stove, and I'll bring y'all right back. Okay, you're going to want to stir it real good. Make sure that lemon juice gets mixed all in there. Now, we're going to bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to reduce it down to a simmer. And don't worry, the little brown that you see floating around, it's just pieces of peel. And I'll bring you back once it gets to a simmer. While it's coming, let me not forget, while it's coming up to a simmer, you might see some foam start rising to the top. You're going to want to take your spoon and gently scoop the foam out. Almost forgot about that part. So, watch for foam, scoop it out, and I'll bring you back once it comes up to a boil and we turn it to simmer. Okay, it has come up to a boil, and then I'm going to let it simmer. You need to let it simmer for 25 minutes. And I've been scooping the foam out. This is going to help to tenderize and make your ginger softer and get a lot of extreme heat and bitterness out of your ginger. Don't worry, it's not going to lose any flavor. So, you want to keep an eye on it. Stir it every so often, but it needs to simmer for 25 minutes. Now, let's go over here while it's cooking and take care of the peels. And I said, don't let anything go to waste. Now, I have my ginger peels here and dehydrator trays. You want to chop it up pretty good. And just remember, it's going to shrink in the dehydrator, so you don't want to mince it too much. And what we're going to do is just spread it on the dehydrator sheet. And you're probably wondering, why is she saving the peel? I'm going to call this ginger chips. That way, I'm going to add it to tea mix. Alright, I'm going to keep chopping and I'll bring you right back. Alright, we ended up with about a tray and a half. And of course it's going to shrink quite a bit. And no, I don't know what temperature it's going to be, because it's going to be, I'll be using for this one of my original Presto dehydros that are not electronic or digital. Yep, and I'm fixing to go put this on the dehydrator while the ginger slices boil and double teaming it. Alright, bring you back once the ginger's done cooking. Okay, the ginger is done cooking for the first time. Now I'm going to strain it out. Let me tell you, the whole house smells like ginger. It smells amazing in here. Okay, I'm going to finish straining the rest of the ginger out. I'm reserving the liquid. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. They said the old timers used to make tea with it. I'm leaning towards I might make some homemade fizzy ginger ale or maybe some ginger beer with it, but I'm not going to waste it. Alright, I'll bring you back as soon as I get all the ginger out. Okay, all of the ginger is strained. I have it in the bowl here. In this pot, I have saved all of the tea, really strong tea from cooking the ginger in. Now I'm going to make the syrup. Equal parts. I got 6 cups of water in the pan, and there goes 6 cups of sugar. And let me go grab my lemon juice. And I have the juice from 2 lemons, fresh squeezed. I'm going to have to get the sugar dissolved. Once it comes up to the simmer, we'll add the ginger into the syrup. And I'll bring you back for that. Okay, the sugar is completely dissolved. The syrup is getting really hot. This is when you're going to have to be careful. You're going to add your ginger into the syrup. Okay, there's enough in there to keep down splash factor. Okay, once your syrup comes up to simmer, you're going to need to watch it and still now. Hold on a minute. Okay. Keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing is sticking on the bottom. You're going to want to stir it. Keep an eye on it. Once your syrup comes up to a simmer, you're going to cook the ginger and the syrup until your ginger becomes translucent. Now, your ginger's going to shrink. Do not worry one bit. That's why I said make healthy slices. Not great big thick slices, but you know, enough to stand up to a little bit of shrinkage. You want to make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. Let me tell you, this house smells so wonderful. It is absolutely delightful. Make sure you stir the bottom too, because you've got to keep an eye on it. Do not let your syrup boil. Let it gently simmer. Once it comes up to temp, it's going to take, depending on how big a batch you make. Believe me, I'd like to have a whole lot more, but I am thankful for this batch. Once it comes up to a simmer, keep it at a simmer. Gentle simmer. It's going to take 20-25 minutes or so for your ginger to become completely translucent. For now, it's okay to stir it occasionally, but once your syrup, as you can see, it's starting to steam real good. Once your syrup starts to simmer, you're going to need to keep an eye on it, because if your syrup burns or anything sticks on the bottom, it's going to ruin the whole batch of candied ginger. Alright, I will bring you back when it's almost done. See y'all after a while. Okay, that candied ginger is pretty much completely done. It should take on appearance kinda like fried apples. As you can tell, they have changed color a whole lot. Now, you can leave it alone and use it as candied ginger. There's two ways to do the candied ginger. You can take jelly jars, or depending on how big of a batch you do, you can do pint jars. What you do is you would scoop out your ginger, use a canning funnel, fill your jar about 3/4 of the way full of the candied ginger, and finish filling the jar up to the first little ring with syrup. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can scoop it out, let all the syrup drip off, put it on cooling racks with silicone like mesh so the syrup can drip out, and let it air dry overnight, and then put it in a jar. I'm going to be using my dehydrator trays and let them air dry overnight, and then I'm going to crystallize them. Now, crystallized ginger is different from candied ginger. This is candied ginger as it is. Crystallized ginger is when you take it out of the syrup, let it air dry overnight, and then roll it, mix it around in good cane sugar. That's crystallized ginger. 3 ways to make the same batch. 2 ways to do candied ginger, 1 way to do the crystallized ginger. Now, I'm going to let this liquid lava set for a little while, and I'll bring you back when I get ready to scoop it out and let it air dry on my trays. And as you can see, some pieces are translucent, some pieces are not, but it's all done. And I'll bring you back here in a little bit. Alright, it has set and cooled for a little bit, not much. You don't want to wait too long because that syrup, as it cools, is going to get thicker. Don't you worry, I'm not going to waste this syrup. Now the reason for putting them on the tray is so what syrup that's still stuck on them will drip down onto the cookie sheet, and whatever syrup drips onto the cookie sheet will get scraped back into the syrup pan. Alright, let me go get another tray. I've got syrup on my finger. Another reason to let it cool and air dry so it's easier to work with. These are going to be wonderful to have in the cooking arsenal. Like I said, I plan on leaving this world fully seasoned. Mm. Oh, it tastes good. Not overly sweet, but it still has that fiery ginger kick. It's not as hot as it was before. Alright, I'm going to finish this third tray and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Alright, I have 3 trays air drying. And in the morning, well, later this afternoon, I will bring you back for when I crystallize it and put it in jars. I already have the lid on the syrup because I'm going to let that cool down and I'm going to jar it up and put it away because that will be a wonderful addition into tea, hot herbal tea, um, regular sweet tea. I could make like a ginger lemonade, well, gingerade with it, marinades, pancake syrup, you name it. Don't let none of it go to waste. Alright, these are going to air dry, and I'll bring you back when it's time to crystallize them. Now, when they're like this, some people call it ginger candy as well. But this is candied ginger for now. I want crystallized ginger. So, yep, all it is, one more step. Okay, welcome to the shed of many names. The ginger air dried for 24 hours. It was still really juicy, syrupy. So I brought it out here to the dehydrator, which I dehydrated it at 125 degrees for 12 hours. I should have let it stop at 10. It's still fine, but it's definitely not gooey anymore. They're chewy like they're supposed to. So now this you can put just like it is up in a jar, and it's your candied ginger. Like I said, I want crystallized ginger. I want to be special. No, I'm joking. I prefer the crystallized ginger because it just gives it that little bit of oomph. And that's why, see how it kind of sparkles? That's why it's called crystallized ginger. It's only one more step from candied ginger. That's it. It all depends on how you want it to turn out. It's your ginger. It's how you want to make it. So I'm just going to separate the pieces because I just put them all in the best I could on each tray, gave them as much room as I could. And all you do is just toss them around. They're not sticky. They just coat on the gingers. That's it. And plus I have a bunch of recipes that call for crystallized ginger. Now, you can substitute the crystallized ginger for just candied ginger too. They both will interchange because, hey, they're the same thing. You just want to break each piece up so that they will crystallize by themselves. Now, your ginger is not supposed to be rock hard. It's supposed to have a little chew to it. So you don't want it to get just absolutely rock hard. This is an old way of preserving ginger. Uh, your oranges, your lemons. Yes, you can do cherries this way. Whoop! Let's not knock the funnel winding. If you wanted to go all out, you could do strawberries this way. Raisins. These are preserved. They're not going to go bad. Now, if you have a cool, dark place to store the jars in, that will work fine. Or if you just feel froggy, you could store it in your fridge, but I wouldn't store the crystallized ginger in the fridge because it really don't need it. The candied ginger, you could do the same way, but it's all preserved. It's not going to go bad unless you just store it in a hot place in the sunlight. Like I said, you want to make sure all your pieces are separated. And you just gently toss them around in the sugar. Shake any excess off. Now, I will warn you, especially if you're using the bigger pieces of ginger, you're going to think that you see hair on it. That's what I thought I just did. No, it's part of the fiber of the ginger. Double check it anyway, because it could easily be a hair. But most of the time, it's the fiber. That was too funny. And I'm telling you, this is worth its weight in gold. One, you have a stomach ache, you can chew a piece of it. Indigestion, you name it. But look How beautiful that is. It's not sticking together. It's not gooey. It's not syrupy. And I will bring you back as soon as I get almost all of it done. I'm going to be here for a little bit. See you here in a little bit. Alright, I'm on my last batch of crystallized ginger. Now, like I said, be prepared. Your ginger will shrink in size. And as you can see, I have all kinds of different shapes and sizes. You just want to make sure that you shake off the excess sugar. I am so happy to have these. I've been wanting to make these for a long time. It's been a long time since I've made them. And I haven't used much sugar at all. And the sugar is still dry. So guess what? I can go back. Yeah, because it just smells like sugar. It can go back in the sugar bucket. Now, a tip. When you go to dehydrate them. Now, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can use your oven on the lowest setting, but keep a close eye on them. And you're going to want to have them up on like a cookie rack or something. If you're dehydrating. I didn't need it this time, but yeah, that sacrifice one shelf, one tray with that in it in case the syrup drips down. It catches the syrup and you can scrape it off and put it into the syrup jar. Now, if you want to, you can vacuum seal it. You don't really have to, but you can. Let's see, where's... And you'll want to, when you're filling up the jar, when you start getting about halfway up, you want to, don't go wild with it, but just gently shake it around, and that way it can settle in. 5 pounds of peeled ginger, well, right there at 5 pounds, yielded me 4 pint jars and a jelly jar of beautiful crystallized ginger. Look at that. Is that not, if I can get it to focus, is that not beautiful? And I'm going to have so much fun using these and wonderful recipes this holiday season. Now, you don't just have to use them during holidays. Like I said, one piece can be put into a cup of tea. One piece can just be a treat as ginger candy. But last time I looked, crystallized ginger was going for about $1.50, depending on where you bought it from, $1.50 to $3 an ounce. Imagine how much I saved, and plus the fact I know what went into it, because I'm the one that made it. Simple, easy, homemade, old-fashioned, beautiful, crystallized ginger. Now, it's preserved. It's not going to go bad. Keep it up away from heat. Anything hot. You want to keep this in a cool, dark area, and you'll have it for a long time. Now, this was a double batch because I was trying to preserve and save all that ginger. I successfully done it. I also have ginger to plant, because let me tell you, those little sprouting pieces of ginger have gone wild, y'all, so I've got to get them in some dirt soon. Simple, easy, homemade. You can do it. You just have to believe in yourself. If you follow the recipe, you will get it done. And you will appreciate having this. And if nothing else, it makes beautiful holiday gifts. Wonderful gifts, homemade gifts, like it used to be a long time ago. Not everybody back in the old days had, such a thing as credit cards. Everybody back then knew credit got you in trouble. Could get you in trouble. Some knew how to work it. Why go broke during the holidays to get crap that's just going to break down, when you can give people something that's going to last them for a good while and bring happiness to them? Everyone, continue to stock up your pantries with food that will nourish and sustain you, and season your food. Always plan to leave this world fully seasoned, y'all. Continue to stock up on your medicine that will heal you, protection of all kinds, and the absolute bare essentials to survive off of. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed. Hoot hoot. Y'all take care.